need to go back in here, but I did. So here we go. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of my semi-critical, semi-reminiscent Let's Play of Final Fantasy X. I have reached Besaid, the first town in modern-day Spira. There's a cat on the bed. Is that a cat? It looks kind of like a tiger thing. At the end of the last episode, I said the first thing I would talk about is why I hated Wakka as a kid. But before I start on that, I want to interject that I love... Her shirt just... What just happened to her shirt? Anyway, I love the music. I love this remastered track in particular. The plucky acousticness of it just works really well. I love it. Anyway, the reason I don't love Wakka. I am half Jamaican. My dad was raised in New York City, and so although he didn't speak with a Jamaican accent, he could if he wanted to.
Hey, you were attacked by Sin, right? Recently, was it?
Oh, no.
I think so.
So, Sin can't be far, right? You're not hiding anything, are you?
Why would I?
If Sin's nearby, it'll attack the island for sure. But it hasn't. I wonder why.
I'm sorry. I really don't know anything. To tell the truth, I don't even know what the Crusaders are.
You're kidding, right?
Sin, the toxin. Gotta tell him who we are.
Yes, sir. The Crusaders are sworn to battle Sin. We have chapters throughout Spira, accepting all who wish to join our struggle.
Wonder if they have
The
an
hero
age limit.
Mihen formed the Crusaders 800 years ago as the Crimson Blades. Later, our ranks grew and we called ourselves the Crusaders. We've been fighting Sin ever since.
What?
That's
You've been
older than
fighting
me, that
800
is.
years and you still haven't beat it?
Well, we've steered Sin away from towns many times. And that's all we can do. Nobody's ever been able to defeat it. Our mission as Crusaders is to protect the temples, towns, villages, and people of Spira.
So, then whose job is it to defeat Sin?
Is Sin's toxin really this bad, sir?
It does seem rather bad. We could just tell you, but I think it better for you to try and remember. Go pray at the temple. Perhaps Yevon will help you regain your memory.
I guess that serves as another hint about how they treat people who have been affected by Sin's toxin in general. And the things they're saying imply also that this is, like, the worst case they've ever seen. Though we can't be sure at this point in the game if normal Sin's toxin thing is what going on. Oh my gosh. It's been a tiring week. I apologize for my pronunciation failures. At this point in the game, we don't know why his Sin problem would be worse than other
But
people's.
soon, we
You
may
can
be able to finally defeat Sin.
presume that it has
plan.
something to
One
do
little-
with the 1,000-year jump in time.
We've been
And we'll find out later
excommunicated. We must
why
go
exactly
now.
it is. But for now, I know a little bit more about a cryptogram. What is this thing? Oh. No wonder I don't remember that. Who are you? Oh, you're a priest. They must heed the teachings. So, Wakka. With his stupid orange hair. I don't like his hair. But the real reason I don't like him is because of his accent. I dislike him less now than I used to. He's still not my favorite character, but I wouldn't say I actively dislike him anymore. My dad was born in Jamaica, but raised in New York City, and so although he sounded like a normal American in general, normal American, is there such a thing? He sounded like an American in general, though he could pop out a Jamaican accent anytime he wanted to. But I grew up listening to my grandparents' accents all the time, and they have very, very thick Jamaican accents. So much so that I think he's the trigger for doing more stuff later. I'm gonna talk to him last. But, I don't even notice mild Jamaican accents. Someone's Jamaican accent has to be thick for me to even notice that they have one. So when I first started playing this game, I thought, wow, what a bad rendition of a Jamaican accent. Now that I've lived longer, I've learned a little bit more about islands in the Caribbean that are not Jamaican, and know that they don't all sound Jamaican. So maybe his voice actor is someone from a different one of those islands, or maybe it is someone doing an imitation and doing it badly. I don't know, but at the time I was just... It was very frustrated, or I was very frustrated because it was very frustrating to hear what sounded to me like a horrible mangling of my grandparents' accent. And I love my grandmother's voice, especially. There's a thing that Jamaicans do, and this is still true. I've met some younger Jamaicans, but Jamaicans all use the entire range of their voices. They go all the way up to the top when they're excited, and then they go all the way back down when they want to make a point. My grandma has an extraordinary vocal range, just in general, and it's just wonderful to listen to. Like, I can't emulate a proper Jamaican accent unless I've been around my relatives for a couple of days, but I can always... just now was a horrible example. I didn't do it right. But I can always pull off that variation in tone that they do. And to me, it feels like that's just as important a part of a Jamaican accent as the word forms, if that makes sense, if not more. Because I've noticed that all of the extended family members I have, like myself, who were not born in Jamaica, who were raised in the United States, to people who were in Jamaica, we all tend to have very expressive voices in terms of rise and lowering of pitch. And I guess I had always felt like that was, for me, like, I started taking acting lessons when I was 8, I think. Yeah, 8 going on 9. And so a lot of my expressive capabilities and my voice come from all that acting training. But as I've gotten older and started to pay more attention to how my grandparents' accents go, and have met more of my extended family and discovered that we all kind of do that, I realized that
it was then, standing in that place.
I love this music. This is... I lied before. Tizanarkin is not my favorite song.
I began to realize how different this world was from my own.
The Hymn of the Faith is. I could listen to this all day. I've done that before, actually. This song, The Hymn of the Faith, is just awesome. I speak Japanese, and I can tell you right now that these words are not Japanese words, but they, if I remember correctly, they come from Japanese words. I believe I read online somewhere.
Became High Summoner. And finally, we receive a statue for our temple.
Well, what's a High Summoner?
I just realized this chest plate looks like a sphere grid.
I got too close to Sin's,
Convenient
toxin.
excuse. Instant sympathy, though. It is a convenient excuse. It works for everything.
It was funny hearing myself make the same excuse over and over. Funny, and a little sad.
The summoners are practitioners of a sacred art, sworn to protect the people of Yevon. Only a chosen few become summoners, who call forth entities of great power, the Aeons. The Aeons hear our prayers and come down to us. They are the blessing of Yevon.
So what he meant was that we should respect some kind of great men, or something like that, I figured.
Nope, he literally meant everything you just said. The summons in this game are directly tied to this religion. And you'll learn a lot more about that as the game goes on. It actually, in some ways, is a central part of the game, or of the story, at least. Soon, we will meet our summoner party member, Yuna, the female lead and love interest for Titus. And yeah, the relationship with her is a very key part of the game as well. But since we're here and listening to this lovely music, I want to talk about it some more. What I was saying before, if I remember correctly, I believe somewhere online I read that if you take the words they are singing and break them up into Japanese characters, into Japanese syllables, basically, that if you write it out, I can't remember which direction it was, but it was something like, if you were to write the lyrics out from left to right and break them up into lines in a certain place, and then read them like top to bottom, right to left, it was something like that. Like if you wrote it, Japanese people traditionally write their language top to bottom, right to left. So you'd have whereas in English we write from left to right, top to bottom. So you read a line from left to right, and you read lines, first line is at the top, last line is at the bottom. Traditionally Japanese is read top to bottom, so that's how you read a line, and then the lines are arranged from right to left. So if I remember correctly, if you write the lyrics out the right way in left to right, top to bottom order, and then read it in top to bottom, right to left order, you actually do get meaning in Japanese. And the meaning it's basically a poem saying praise be to Yevon. I will try to find that and link it in the description when I put this on YouTube. That was super fascinating to me, especially at the time that I read this. I had been studying Japanese for a couple of years at that point, about a year on my own, and then a year of high school Japanese. I was one of 2 seniors in the class, first year class. But yeah, like this song is just so beautiful. And one thing that I really love about this, and this is tied to the story, although this song is the same song in every temple, it's also a different version of the song. But just remember that. And enjoy. It's such a good song. What does he say if I talk to him again? Pray hard and the toxin will surely release its grip on you. Believe! Only sworn guardians may approach the cloister of trials. For now. Good times. May the apprentice summoner return to us safely. We're talking about Yuna. She's in there right now. I'm leaving. Time to go talk to Waka and get this story moving along a little bit. I still totally forgot to make note of what time I started this episode at. Hopefully it doesn't end up too long. Did I go in here? Yeah, I did. Back out. Out. I want to say real quick, though, that I love this hut. And I love this hut because it's just showing people weaving. And granted, those aren't the most realistic looms in the history of ever. But weaving, like making cloth, is a pretty important thing for making things like clothes or even these tents they live in. Because, I mean, these huts are really more like permanent tents. Or maybe they're just decorated with cloth. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. But you've got 2 people here, a woman and a man, actually, it looks like. Maybe it's 2 men. It just engaged in creating cloth for the village. You do, in a lot of well-made RPGs, you see people making things like armor. Basically anything that there are shops. Even in most shops, you don't see people making things. You might see a blacksmith pounding at a sword, the same sword, always, forever and ever, or something. But you don't usually see people making the raw materials from which other things are made, even if you see things being crafted. I really like the colors here. The cushions on that couch, though, they need to go. Come here, Waka.
Sorry, man. No time for lunch yet.
Okay, maybe that's
Take
not what
a
I
nap.
need to do.
You look pushed.
Sure. Forced game nap. Let's do this. Why do
could
his
at least
hips
go
rise
see how
when
they are
when
doing.
he sleeps? Or when he
Can't
breathes?
interfere.
It's weird.
It's a rule.
But it's been nearly. But
Back in
it's
Xanderson.
been nearly.
It's been nearly a day already.
Perhaps you could go look for us.
People are searching for him now.
Thank you.
Who cares whether he comes back or not?
But he might die.
In case you can't tell, we're talking about his dad.
Do you hate him so?
Yes!
But if he dies, you'll never be able to tell him how much you hate him.
Kind of feel sorry for Titus's mother. We only ever see her in these flashbacks. But it must have sucked watching your kid hate his dad and then dad disappears and
Waka?
stuff. I do not remember what I was talking about beforehand. Besides the cushions being terrible. God, they're so ugly. I am an opinionated color pattern person. Let's go. This is an interesting temple entrance. Architecturally. Oh, on this hanging here and on the pillars, if you look right, there's the black section. The top and bottom are black. And then you got the white bars and then the red thing in the middle. And in the middle of the red thing is a symbol. That's the symbol of this religion. That bird-looking thing. Looks kind of like an owl. I saw an owl today on a bike ride. That was pretty cool, actually. I don't think I've seen an owl that close before. Definitely had to ring my bike bell to make sure that it,
Is something wrong?
got out of the
The
way.
summoner hasn't returned from the trial.
Eh?
Well,
Who do what now?
apprentice summoner, really.
How do you graduate to
There's a
full
room
summoner?
in there called the Cloister of Trials. Beyond is where the apprentice summoner prays. If the prayer is heard, the apprentice becomes
Oh.
a fully fledged summoner. Remember?
I knew that.
So someone is in there somewhere and they haven't come back out. Right, I got it.
A day's already
Snarker.
gone by.
Is it particularly dangerous in there?
Sometimes, yes.
Why don't you go in and help?
There's already guardians in there. Besides, it's forbidden.
Hey, but what if something happens? What if the summoner dies?
Our precepts must be obeyed.
Well,
Like I
guess
care.
what? I am not a follower of your religion. Yev off. It's gonna be my new F off for a while. Yev off.
Maybe. This wasn't
Instead of
such a
Yevon,
good idea
Yevon.
after all.
Ha ha ha. That was a terrible joke. I'm not really sorry though. I love this, these little runes. There's like Yevon symbol runes and then other runes. I just realized that they're all stacked neatly in columns. Apparently that's not what I need to touch. A strange glyph glows. Looks kind of like a clock, but it's not. I like the Cloister of Trials music too. Not as much as the Hymn of the Faith. This is one of the areas that I would consider a dungeon. And I say that because to me a dungeon feels like a separate place you go to where there is this a sort of there are things like forest dungeons and whatnot, but in general it's a place that feels dangerous and is usually constructed. Yes, 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 yes. Spirity, spheres. The Cloister Trial puzzles are pretty interesting. Like, there's a way forward, but they also have hidden treasures and stuff. So there's yes, thank you. I know how the game works. Maybe not everyone does. Yeah, it's a pretty sphere. There are different kinds of spheres that do different things, and different recesses for the spheres. Different recesses have different effects. Like there's this recess here. Also that one. I don't actually remember how this puzzle goes. I only have the one sphere. Let's start putting them places. Sometimes you put a sphere in a recess and it does nothing. I don't know why you can only carry one at a time, except that it's a puzzle, so I said so. What will this do? Basically, you try the spheres and see what happens. Maybe I didn't want to put that one in there yet. Oh, destruction sphere. But you basically just try them in the different things and see what happens. Balls. What is it? Oh, nope, that is it. That is it. Thing is glowing. I can touch it now. Yes, yes. That is really pretty. Anyway, the secret treasure in this particular cloister happens, or is revealed, I guess, when you put the destruction sphere in this recess, if I remember correctly. But I can't pick it up while I'm holding this one, so the easiest thing to do... Wait, is there a place to put it over here? Yet. Anyway, I'm gonna put this in the door, and then pick up the destruction sphere. Puzzle. Oh. That's the wrong way. I can't brain. You don't need me to brain, do you, audience? This. Stick it in here. This is probably one of my favorite destruction sphere insertions. Because I really like this. The cool purple glowy line that just goes off of the cracks and makes this happen. The Cloister of Trials puzzles are always basically... they're all the same kind of things. But as you go along, some of them get more... they get more complicated as they go. That item I just got is a weapon for Yuna, the summoner. No. The controls in this game are actually not that weird. That's for this one. That's for this one. The controls for this game are actually not that weird. Usually, I just I'm a little tired at the moment. Yes, I am definitely Clark. Tutorial Cloister of Trials is tutorial-tastic. Blarg.
Hey! What's gotten into you? Hey, it's okay. Only summoners, apprentice summoners, and their guardians can enter here. It's a tradition, very important.
So what about you?
Me? I'm a guardian.
Wah, 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 wah.
A guardian?
Oh, I've been watching Rise of the Guardian multiple times recently because I like that, and so now just the word guardian makes me think of it.
Summoners go on a pilgrimage to pray at every temple in Spira. Guardians protect them. The guardian's in there now. One of them's got a short fuse, and who knows what the other's thinking. Well, now that we come this far, might as well go all the way.
I no longer dislike Waka like I used to. I still find him somewhat annoying.
What are you doing here?
But it's a personality
Didn't think
thing.
we'd be able to handle it?
No, it's just... See, I told you she gets mad easy.
What do you want?
Is the summoner all right?
Who are you?
She just didn't even notice him standing there. Hear that different version of the Hymn of the Faith? The one out in the main part of the temple is sort of the main base version, and this is the one specific to this temple. I love her outfit. It is one of my favorite outfits from any visual media ever. This game made me a big fan of tie-on sleeves. And the detail on her hakama is pretty neat. It's not... It looks a lot like a kimono, but it's not actually a kimono. But I love it. I love the colors and everything about it. I also wouldn't look good in it because of the backlessness of it and stuff.
I've done it. I have become a summoner.
Oh god, the voice acting. It's not as bad. That moment is not as bad in Japanese. But that's because the Japanese sentence breaks up a lot better there.
Man, was I surprised.
Game's pretty.
And here I was thinking summoners were all old geezers.
Wah, wah, wah. Statues do give that impression, though. Definitely gone on a little bit long. Actually, I can cut it arbitrarily anywhere I want to, so I'm going to do that right now. Goodbye.